Okay, I see it now. I can see me now. All right, how you doing, Nika? I'm trying not to get my radiator. I'm in a very small room, and I don't know, just a little um history about myself. Current situation. I had a house fire in March of last year, and I've been in hotels ever since. Two hotels. Now I'm in what they call an SRO, waiting to get another place. So my space is very small. You do the doors right there, and the radiators right behind it. So it's not a whole lot to lot to see. So that's the long and short. Why you might see the radiators. I'm in a very small room, and maybe we'll do a video of it when I get this place a little more organized. Okay, so I wanted to first of all apologize for my guest is will not be able to show up. Okay, okay, maybe so. My guest, the Queen. Uh, okay, resend the link. Okay, so the Queen, the Queen Kai is back here. I'm going to send her the link. Okay, so let me resend the link here to her. Okay. 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 Uh, all right. So I will send to Queen Key. Okay. This is the link for just Queen for the Queen. So hopefully you got it. I tried to send it to you in Facebook Messenger. If you don't see it, so I'm gonna send it again in Facebook Messenger, or you can scroll up in your Facebook Messenger and everything. Okay, all right. So I had four people. Now I'm back down to two people. It's all good. So anyway, I was about to apologize for the Queen not being able to be here because of power issues. She's in Tanzania right now, beautiful Tanzania. Um, so anyway, there's the link, Queen. I think I sent it to you in your messenger as well. Yes, I have. So you should have in the messenger. I'm sending it twice now. Okay. So let me get started. And I'm waiting for the Queen to come in. Um, so yeah, so the topic is, are men really from Mars and women really from Venus? And it's basically based off a book that was written by John Gray that talks about the differences between men and women and why we have tend to have such a hard time getting together and getting uh, involved in healthy relationships. So, I wanted to talk about that, but I was thinking earlier this morning, a little bit last night. I wanted to check with the Queen first before I did that, and wanted to say, I think even before we talk about the differences, and I think we're talking about differences in communication between men and women, I think the main thing that we first need to start talking about, the very first thing that we should talk about is values and if we really are on the same page, because that makes communication a little bit harder, as well as our spiritual and a spiritual development and our human development in terms of how are we how developed are we in dating and relationships, how literate are we in both of these factors. And I'm of the belief that um we are not as developed as we should be. Many times we do not have the role models, we do not have the experience. Okay, I think Queen is here now. All right, so I see you backstage, Queen. So give me a few minutes and I'm going to invite you in. I see you. backstage. Hello. We have one viewer so far, and I think it's Mika. But hopefully, we'll get some more people in. I know it's a while, and I'm still working on all aspects of marketing the word out, but much for showing up. Let me just get a. I'm just going to give a little bit, I guess, before I go forward. What makes me? I want to explain what makes me a. I don't want to say an expert, but what makes me versed on this topic of dating and relationships. So, 15 years ago, I wrote a book called "Dating Games: A Brother Speaks Up." And in this book, that really turned into an ebook. I had a book deal, and the book deal fell through because a publishing house actually collapsed. And well, so I made an ebook, and I'm working on revising the ebook at this time. So to update it a little bit. And basically, the book is called again "Dating Games: A Brother Speaks Up." And so in the book, in the book, my experiences dating and in relationships and uh, not witnessing a healthy relationship growing, and the fact that I did not always witness healthy relationships growing up, as many of us don't. um, so I wrote the book, but the book also talks a little bit about my mom's experience in her own marriage that basically ended with her death. She was married from 1985 to 2006. And for the last 21 years of her life, she was in a unhealthy relationship. And I was able to document that. And she actually edited some of the book. She wanted her story told. So even before that, I had started a series of workshops for personal and professional development that dealt with um, getting a little feedback. Other YouTube. All right. Longer story short, I developed a series of workshops as I was working as a prevention worker in a social service organization in Flatbush, Brooklyn. And I did a series of workshops based on my art, which is seven principles, spiritual principles of ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet or ancient Kemet. And I did a 7-month series dealing with each topic of my art, which I'll talk about another time. And from that was 2001. My book came out, I'm sorry, in 2005. My mom passed away the next year after it came out. So I've always been interested in relationships and dating for my own personal consumption, of course, but also because of I see it all around in our community, unhealthy relationships. And I want to say that, and I'll probably put some of this information on my community tab, that it's not that men or women are from different um, planets. It's that we have different communication styles and that we have different points of development. Every being is is at a different point in human development. And so a lot of my relationships, um, I've realized in my own life, my relationship is I'm always in a different space. It seems like with the women that I've dated, tried to date, and all the rest of that stuff. And a lot of times, actually, the relationship ends up being a good friendship. Sometimes it takes years later. Sometimes we just continue to rock. I do have a really bad experience that I am coming out of last year that some people already know about, that I've read with a sister on the continent, which I'll talk about at another time in another space. But anyway, so I feel that we have different communication styles, but we have a shared history as people of African descent in terms of not only on the continent of Africa, but also also in here in America. But we also have to point out that we had different roles sometimes in America. I'm talking about slavery at this point. We had different responsibilities, but a lot of times it all came back to the same thing in terms of how we were treated. So, with all that being said, I think that a exploration of our own spirituality and our own development of our own spiritual growth is really important, and for us to understand why it's important for us to understand our history, our culture, and why self-development is really important, and to understand that we often have a common enemy, and that enemy is colonization, when we have another people trying to define what our reality is. That's a big problem. So anyway, I've been talking a long time. I want to bring Queen Key in. Um, I hope I'm saying it right. Queen Key, right? And I see she stepped away. But there's no one watching at this point, unfortunately. So give me 1 second. Right quick. Okay. Ready to go, the Queen? When you're ready? When you sitting up straight, I'll know that you're ready. Let me know. Get them earrings straight. Hair looking nice. Okay, you ready to roll, Queen? Can you hear me? Okay. This is my first time, so be gentle with me, baby. Okay. So I'm gonna unmute the mic, and then I'm gonna add to your stream. Okay. So okay. All right. Right. I think we're live now. Be gentle. This is my
Greetings.
first time.
Greetings.
Greetings.
How are you?
Perfect. I can hear you. Okay. I'm better now, thanks to you and your advice on everything. I want to give a shout out to the sister with me with the StreamYard. Y'all, she made it happen. So thank you so much. And she introduced herself in her fabulous channel. So take it away, Queen. Whatever
Okay,
you want
well,
to say.
it's definitely the Queen Key, not the Queen Kai. I'm not sure how you get that.
Okay.
But I mean,
Kai
greetings.
Chai. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. Greetings to your family here. Greetings to Samumba's followers. My name is the Queen Key. I am also a fellow YouTuber. I am actually residing here in Tanzania, which is why I'm late because my power went out, but that happens in Africa. And I was hoping that it did turn on in a timely manner because I felt really bad, but it did. So we're here. I'm very honored that he found the need to add me to his live stream for me to, I guess, give my perspective as an African American woman, actually now living in Africa, on the topic of relationships. I know a little bit about relationships. I'm not a complete expert, but I've been through a few things, and I have a perspective from both America and a little bit of Africa since I've been here on the continent. Just a little, not an expert, but I am here ready and willing to add to Samumba's knowledge. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Um, do you make skincare products or sell them by any chance?
Say what?
Do you make skincare products or sell them because your skin is? And if
No.
not, maybe you should think about it. But okay, okay. Anyway, just giving you props. Maybe it's the
Sorry.
Tanzania and air and water and being home. Okay, so I have listened to several of your streams, and I know there's a good one that I listed on the community page, and it takes the links to the about page about you, and you have you have a really interesting background in terms of professional and educational. But I remember what stood out to me, and I wanted to know more, but I'm going to ask you in a professional way. You said that you're for, and I don't want to. You can give away your. I don't want to say your age. You can give away your age if you want to,
Okay.
But the marriage didn't work out, and I wanted to know. Okay, forgive me because we didn't really. This is all new, but we didn't really discuss this. But forgive me in advance. Um, the reason the marriage didn't work out, I guess my question would be: is it? Do you feel why didn't it work out? Was it like the culture? Was it like the mindset, the mentality, the not shared spirituals or
Mm-mm,
partnership? Was he
mm-mm,
cheating?
mm-mm.
However you want
Nope.
to say the situation, if you want to talk about it or not, or even just talk about marriage,
I mean,
because I know
I'm
that
ready
you
to
want to
answer
speak
you,
on
but
that.
you
So
just
let me
kept
shut up and
going.
let you talk.
I'm ready to
I'm
answer
sorry.
you.
I just wanted to make sure I asked you the right way. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
Um. So, yes, I was married. This January 23rd will make officially 3 years that I've been divorced. I was actually married for 6 years, together for 7 with that person. The reason why it did not work out is because of domestic violence. Domestic violence.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, okay. I mean, there are probably other factors, but where I can talk about
Yeah.
relationships, committed relationships, communication, finances, different things of that nature. Um, yeah. So, domestic
That's
violence.
that's the only reason you really need to end it. Period. That's the only reason you really need that. You don't really have to, you know, to do that. Like, but my thing is, okay, this sounds strange question, but besides the domestic violence, uh, if there was no domestic, I guess I don't even know if you can answer this, but if there was no domestic violence, it would have been everything else was okay.
Okay, so if you're asking what are some other
I know. I'm sorry. I
complications,
just trying to.
no, it's fine. What are some other complications or
Yeah.
issues that normal relationships without abuse maybe deal with? We had the communication issues. There were times where there were differences in beliefs or philosophies because we both were in a Christian organization. So there were times because our own Christian organization at the time used to fight amongst each other. So there were times where there were different beliefs or differences in our philosophies. There were lots of communication issues. There were we had issues with finances. Most of the time they said the I think in America the I guess the highest percentage the highest percentage of reasons for divorce in America is due to finances and infidelity, I believe. So definitely, sometimes most of the time it's also a communication issue as well. But yeah, we had a little bit of everything going on. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So the DV was, of course, the tipping point.
It was something that was happening through.
Pounded.
It was happening throughout the duration of the marriage. So it wasn't a tipping point, but you get tired. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you don't deserve that. And I'm sure there was domestic emotional abuse as well. I think that's the most prevalent form of dysfunction in a relationship. Like the words that we say to each other, how we make each other feel, or how one person tries to make the other. Case with my mom. My stepfather never put hands on her, but domestic, emotional abuse throughout. Okay, so I've worked in this industry as a prevention worker, and I remember working with one particular sister that was from Grenada, I believe, and she was in a DV situation, and we had to create a safety escape for her. Like sometimes in DV situations, you can't just leave because you have to be very strategic in how you live. So is that what you did to get out? Because if you leave, a lot of times you'll be a target. So if you care to share how you act out,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
if you
I
care
don't
to
want to
share
turn this
that.
into I don't want to turn this into my past marital situation. But I will say yes, there are
Mhm.
times where women are in domestic violence relationships where they most of the time they tend to stay. For those who may not be in religious organizations, they stay because they don't have anywhere else to go. They don't want to, you know, bother family. They don't want to get family involved. You know, they don't have anything in their name. They don't have any finances. They have the children. I don't have that children, so I didn't have that component there. But for myself, it was my organization. Sometimes you can be into certain organizations that are pretty much represent mental enslavement, whether it's a, you know, Christian organization, Baptist, whatever it is, any type of religious organization. Most of the time, those women in those situations tend to stay longer as well. But yeah.
An unperfect storm. Okay, so we talked about your situation. I've spoke a little bit about mine. So to kind of move forward a little bit, this is a question. We'll definitely have to do another stream. Well, I guess the problem solutions that we, because I really don't feel that we are from Mars and Venus. I just feel like we have different communication styles, and a lot of times we're at different points of development. So, what would you say would be key for us to move forward? And has your experience in Africa changed your view or expanded your view about dating, relationships, and how we can get together, even in non romantic sort of relationships, to kind of relate to one another more as men and women, Black men and women, African men and women?
So let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and try to address your first question. So, what is your first question? You said something about moving forward.
Yeah. So how do we? There is a divide. I feel like between men and women, period, to certain levels. So as Black men and women, how do we move forward together in order to create more healthy relationships, interpersonal relationships to romantic relationships? What do you feel that are some of the things that we
Well,
could
are
do
you
to
speaking in
make that
general, or are
the
you speaking
starting
on?
steps?
Are you speaking in general, or are you speaking on the Black male and the Black female? Let me just say that because there's a
I'm
big difference.
speaking now. I'm talking about us. Yeah, the Black male and female.
Okay, because see that there's an issue there. The reason that there's a disconnect, in my honest opinion, between the Black female and the Black male is there's a lack of love and a lack of respect. And I think that once we start to love one another and we start to respect one another, honor one another, and actually see value in one another, and not be so conform to societal standards of what beauty is. Because see, you know, I think first of all, the Black man has to start back loving and wanting and desiring the Black woman, and vice versa, because
Mm.
there's a lot of interracial relationships going on right now. So I think if we can, I think there's a movement that is starting, and I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I can probably name a few things that have caused it, but there is a new movement of, you know, the whole hashtag melanin, you know, or love that melanin. So now we do have our Black men that are now appreciating our beautiful dark skin, our coarse but lovely hair, you know, and everything about us, and vice versa. The woman starting to love the, you know, attributes of the Black men as well. And so I think that once that comes together in a nice, cohesive way, and we start having deep and personal conversations, meaningful conversations where we're connecting and truly just loving on one another, communicating with one another, and reconnecting with one another, then we can start to move forward um, in a beautiful way, in a powerful way, as Black men and women ready to um, engage in Black love. It's simple, probably the simplest way to put it.
Right.
That's
All
just
right.
my.
Now I want to get personal for the brothers. Uh, Brothers, I want to ask you directly because we need this information. How could we? What do we need to do in order to love you better as Black women? To understand you, what are some of the steps that you think that we need to do, and some things that we aren't doing to improve our relationships?
um, I mean, that's a really broad question, because that's really based on
Oh,
what is truly going on in individuals' relationships who are actually, Black couples. Um, it's,
okay.
I don't know if I can really answer that. I mean, it would be pretty personal, because then I'll have to start thinking about myself, even though I'm not dating right now, because I'm working and doing things. But if I were to answer that for myself, I can't speak on it in like I can't give a generalized answer, because I really don't know what the struggles are for most women. If I can say what someone or most of my sisters are telling me back in America, they really just want you to love them. Instead of loving them, you love Karen and you love Maria. They want what's exotic. They want what they see the rappers. They're mimicking rappers and their relationships, and they said
Mm-hmm.
they first
Mm-hmm.
start loving us, start wanting us. And that's coming from multiple sisters that I've actually, you know, have spoken to in the States, or women that I know. And so, before for myself, it's just about, love and respect and security. Um, it's just being that provider, that protector. These are some of the things that are kind of still ingrained in me. Even though I'm not in a religious organization, there are still things that I look to when I think of a king, and what his role is supposed to be in my life. And so, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like
yeah.
how I like how you say royal family a lot, and I like that bar that you said high. That's good. That's a step to me. Setting it high. You say God, goddess. I want to get back to that question, but I want to ask you in terms of your observations in Africa. Are there certain things that you have observed about relationships in Africa that different than here, that work, that may not work? I mean, is there a different level of respect and love over there, or let me know what you think.
Yes, I would have to say yes. I'm just gonna give my honest opinion. Um, I'm not. I can't tell you that you don't find men that walk out on their families, or do something they're not
Yeah.
supposed to be doing, to dishonor the relationship, because you can find that. But for the most part, I have seen the most loving family men. And I'm not saying you can't find that in America. Don't attack me. I'm not saying that. But from my observations, I see family men. I see men that protect the woman just in general. It doesn't even have to be in the context of being in a relationship. If women, if there's a man around here, you see them. If there's a man around and there's a woman who is doing something, maybe carrying something, or she needs help with something, they're going to chip in. They're going to come and step in without question. It's almost an unspoken rule. That's just how they are. Very manly, very masculine, and very helpful. They play their roles, and it's just overall great men. I'm speaking of the Tanzanians here in Tanzania, and I think they're great. They have big hearts. They work very hard, and they provide. They take care of their families the best way that they know how, and they're definitely protectors, and they're here for the woman. And I'm speaking in general, not even in a relationship context. So that's what I've seen. And in relationships, I see very healthy, beautiful, thriving relationships here. And I say what I'm saying here because not only myself, but there's other um, African American females that I know that have had situations in America where, if you're out, just giving an example, if you're out taking out your trash and there's a guy passing you by, you got this big old trash thing and you're walking, he's going to continue to walk by you. He's probably not going to stop unless he was
Hmm.
raised, a
Yeah.
certain way.
Fact.
If he was raised a certain way, then yeah, that's why I
Hmm.
said
There you go.
I don't want to sit here and glorify Africa to be this and then just completely trash America, as if you can't find genuine respectful, loving, hardworking men. This, you can find the same type of men both in the continent, America, UK, everywhere. But I'm just saying in general, what we're lacking there, and more of what I see here on the continent from the men. They're just different. The
Okay.
culture is different. So the culture here on the continent is different, and that's what makes them different.
Okay. All right. So staying in Africa, is there a difference between what you see in Tanzania and Kenya as well? So I know the countries are really together and we share a lot of commonalities, but is there any difference between that in terms of relationships in Kenya and Tanzania, or is it the same thing?
I'm sorry, you broke up, and are you asking me the same question? What are you? Could you repeat the question?
No, I'm asking about the like you've been to Kenya, right?
Uh
And
huh.
spent time in Kenya, right?
Yes.
And is there a difference between, okay.
Oh, so is there a
So
difference
is there a
between the
difference
Kenyan
between,
men and the Tanzanian men?
yeah, I guess that's my question, and how they treat women?
See, I mean, I only spent a month in Kenya. I can't tell you how they treat women. But
Okay.
I can tell you a difference in the mannerisms. Absolutely, there's a difference. The but there's a reason behind it when you do your history on Kenya, and why I
Hmm.
find and others have found that they are not only more business minded, but they're more a little bit more on the aggressive side. And not all Kenyans. I don't want anyone to attack me again. Not all Kenyans, but for the most part, I noticed a difference when I crossed that border and I was dealing with the people, both men and women. The mannerisms are very different. Their demeanors, the way they speak to you. Yeah, it's much different than the Tanzanians. More meek, lowly, calm, and peaceful spirit, or spirit and demeanor that they hold. So there's a difference there.
Okay. And those are the two major countries that you've been to, Tanzania and Kenya, right? I have to
Yes,
watch more of your videos. Have you been to other places in Africa yet?
not yet.
Okay, could you you been to, not yet. Okay. So I know you're going to Rwanda, or maybe I'm projecting that, but it seems like you'll be going to Rwanda. I know you're
No,
going to Sierra
not,
Leone, where you found your DNA.
mhm.
No Rwanda? Not yet?
Not
Not maybe
yet.
ever?
No,
Okay.
going straight to Sierra.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I was watching the video by our boy Black Africa. He was showing his apartment in Dar. Looked pretty nice and everything. And I know that you've interviewed with him before as well. Really good brother. Um, but okay, I want to circle back a little bit. And I won't keep this too much longer because at one point we did have 4 viewers. I don't know if anybody's watching now, but I want to just draw back to what you said about black men and caring and wanting what's exotic. And I think what's interesting is that black women are very exotic themselves. The most exotic, if you ask me. But besides the Karens that some of us are pursuing, and I'll never understand that myself, but what are some of the other things that black men should do or could do to help refocus on black women? I think it's a generational thing. I'm a little older. I'm from a different generation, more of like a Panther baby, and we have a different sort of outlook. Where this new millennial generation is like social media driven and all the rest of that, and we still see rappers got to have light skin, wives, and stuff like that. So, besides, what else do you feel that? How could we focus to love you better, to recognize you better? And I'm not just saying you in particular, but black women in general. What are some things, or even books and stuff that we can read to become better? Because I personally want to know how to love a black woman better. I think I'm doing pretty good, but for brothers that watch this on the replay and listen, what are things that you think that they should know, things that they can really to help redirect our energy back towards you as black women?
Well, I think when it comes to book recommendations, you might know more about that than I do, because I know relationships are definitely your thing and it's something that you focus on. I'm not dating right now, so I'm not even focused on relationships at this point. Um, but I do have two books that I have read and continue to read maybe from time to time, which is the Five Love Languages. And there's I think that's probably
Mm.
a good book for everyone to start with. I would just say that, but I'll let you stick with the book recommendations. But I'm glad you mentioned millennials, because we're generation, they're a generation that is very visual, and well, we all are. I
Right.
mean, when you
Vision.
think about
Oh man.
when you
Yeah.
think about the media and how the media has played a big role in kind of conditioning us and almost hypnotizing us and putting spells on those
Mm.
who aren't critical thinkers, and don't look beyond the media and the mass messages.
There you go.
The music videos and movies. I think Hollywood in general, has played a really huge role in our society as far as setting the beauty standards. And of course, we were rarely that. We have rarely seen us. So one of the things, I think, since you mentioned that, I'll say maybe to start, especially with this generation here, is to start showing more Black beauty, or Black is beautiful, in a lot of the media, in all aspects, across all forums. I think that's a good start. And I'll tell you, and I don't know if this is because he's an African artist, but Rotimi, I call him Rotimi, or however they pronounce it. He's a Nigerian guy who lives in America. He's been on Power, if you know him, as Dre on Power.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been on
The singer,
he's
yeah.
been on some other he's been on some other shows. His fiance is actually a Tanzanian, beautiful Black Tanzanian girl, and
Oh,
but aside from
okay.
that, when he does music videos, he's always showcasing African American, or just melanated women. And I absolutely love that. And they're dark, they're not even on the lighter spectrum. Not that that would,
Wow.
be horrible, but I'm starting to see a trend. Black is beautiful, starting to promote us in the media, promote us in Hollywood, you know, um, date us, be with us, honor us, lift us up, honor us like you would honor your mothers. Your mothers are African women, you love them and you honor them, you know, we you we come from Black women too. We are that. Someone had to love on your mother for her to have you. So let's start thinking about that. Start giving us, that same respect and the
Remember
same love and
that.
honor. And yeah, that's a simple start. Start with us. Just start with us. I can go so much more deeper into that, but just start with us. Why not?
All right. All right. Definitely. So I'm gonna look for the brother's videos. I think he played Andre in Power. Um, so I'm gonna look for and then try to start posting some of the videos because the image is really, really
I mean,
important
you got to be
for
careful.
the Black
I
love.
don't know who your audience is, but I mean, some of his videos is very sexy still. So I mean, if it's PG-13, but I'm just saying, to see a
Uh,
Black woman, to see a African
oh, right.
woman in the video, it is beautiful. It is beautiful to start seeing us in more lead roles, in movies, and in music videos. Not that I even have enough time to watch music videos and things, but from time to time I see it, so yeah, definitely start putting us in positions and places of power as well, if you guys
Yeah.
have that power and authority.
Yeah. Great. So I'll work when I find this video. I work on editing to make sure the positive parts come out. I'm getting editing, video editing. Wow. It's interesting you said that. So have you seen? There's this movie called Sylvia's Song. I think it's on. It's on. I don't know if you have to have Amazon, I guess, to get it. Sweet Song, but it's a Black love movie that is really good. It's really good. And I always like to try to promote those types of movies. Now, you said something that's really key. You said media. and the images that media puts out. And as we're speaking about millennial and the millennial generation at this time in our history, so I see the overall media as negative because really they're just trying to make a dime. If they can make more money off dark skinned women, they would do that. And they're doing that in some cases. But this may be my final question. Is it media, mass media, or social media, or both? Or what role? I'm sorry, I know it's a long question, but I see personally as more and more social media than even mass media. The power of social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and other things. And the people that's putting out the images sometimes are us. So would you say that it's also social media, or did you mean that social media that's unhealthy as well as mainstream media? And what can we do to blunt this if that's the case? Social media seems to be a problem, and I'm doing my best to address it. So what would you say versus mainstream media and the dangers and the strengths perhaps in both?
Well, I would say both for sure, but we're definitely living in a social media world. We live, we work, we eat, we sleep, we do everything on our smartphones. And so this is a social media
For better or
generation.
worse.
It's turned those who were not brought up in this generation social media freaks as well. We're addicted. Probably one of the first things we do in the morning, if someone is honest with themselves, is check our phones. Check social media. And so yes, social media plays a huge role in the influence that it has on those who consume it. Absolutely.
Right. Because it seems like I put out a post and I made an actual about the busset the busset challenge. Have you seen that online? Where the women
Yeah,
are,
I don't pay
it's
any
not black
attention.
women. Okay. So my thing was about I feel like I don't know if you ever thought about this, but I feel like a lot of social trends in general tend to not be like empowering or healthy. The busted challenge is where the regular looking woman is whatever, and then it says, I think my butt's getting me. And then she drops down and she's like on her knees and her butt is kind of bouncing a little bit. And it seems like a lot of these challenges, sometimes, not all, but some of these challenges are just like kind of objectifying black women or women in general, black women in particular. And the busted challenge is an example of that. But I find that social media a lot of times also kind of debase black women um, in a lot of ways. So I'm just learning how to make videos and edit, try to make videos that kind of counter against that. But there seems to be a lot of problems in social trends. And do you see that as an issue? And how do we combat that as well? Or do we just make, like, I'm doing this thing called the counter, where we make videos that show the beauty and the strength and the intelligence of black women, and I want to point out that, I say black women a lot because I feel like you guys should be upheld and uplifted at every point. And your point about, like, I came from my mom, I got to give thanks that she carried me for 9 months, and so I try to love a woman the same way I love mom, to honor my mom, even though she's not here. And I know that she was proud. So, what do you think about how do we create, maybe we, or should we create social trends, social media trends that uplift us? A trend can be fleeting, you know. So we think about that. How do we continue to blunt the social media? Or, okay, I'm asking a lot of things. I guess what I really want to say is social media seems to have a negative impact on each other and how we treat each other. But to what extent do you think that exists, and to what extent can we address it to make things healthier? I know that's a loaded question, but I really see
Okay,
social media as a problem.
let me just start. I got you from before. So if I remember what you said prior to, you're pretty much talking about social media and how it has these challenges that seem to degrade the uh, the black woman. I believe that yes, it absolutely does. Even though you see all types, manners, and colors of all type of women doing these challenges most of the time, because now
Yes.
these women who are not of color want to be us anyway. So they mimic everything we do in the first place. So they're doing the challenges as well. But
Yeah.
a
Right.
lot of times these challenges are, which is probably another topic or discussion, they're just distractions. All of this TikTok and different things that they put out to distract us from real issues. They're just distractions for one. But yes, social media, like as I answered before, has a extreme, huge impact on our community. And I believe you were saying, how do we combat it? Well, you've already answered. You pretty much answered your question when you said, hey, I, I start, challenges that show beauty and strength and honor of our women of color. And I think that if we had more consumers, those who are part of the social media world that thought like you and that, wanted to empower our women of color or our people of color for that matter, and you want it to kind of reverse the damage, or hey, if this goes viral, or they want to do this hashtag, well, I'm going to start these hashtags. Let's start these hashtags. Let's start making the positivity go viral. Let's start making the honor, the strength, the intelligence, the power, and the divinity of the woman of color. Let's start making these things go viral. And so I think that if we had more people that thought like that, either think like that and actually be a part of a change to create change, create a change of narrative for the woman of color. But if we have more people that think like you that can do that, that's a good start. Or those that just don't partake in these degrading challenges, for example, just don't partake, don't become a consumer of the same things that tear us down. Because we know that it's not the people of color that are creating these things for us to partake in to tear us down. That would be a good start.
Right. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
You can still hear me, right? Okay. Okay. So thanks. I want to kind of close it out with kind of a deep dive about yourself because it can help me as I'm doing transitions. Because what I'm getting from what you're saying about your personal life is just what I'm kind of getting. Um, you being in Africa now, your focus it's a whole different I guess foods in a lot of ways, a whole different focus. And I know that you work a lot of things. So how has Africa, for you personally, how has it helped to redirect your focus in life in terms of the goals that you have? It seems to me, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be a little bit easier to focus in Africa because you're there for like a bigger purpose. So how has being in Africa refocus or focus or change or evolve what you want to do in your life? And if you care to expound on some of the things that you're doing, that'll be great. I know that you're shining a light on Tanzania and Africa, which is beautiful, and life in general. But how has being there really helped you and move forward in your own life?
Well, being here in Africa, my personal decision to come to Africa was definitely more spiritual than it was career, even though it started off as career. But I was here. I was prompted to come here a little bit earlier um, than originally planned because of certain spiritual reasons that I won't dive too deep into. But nevertheless, I am here. I've been here since October, and I'm loving it. It is wonderful. It is definitely. I won't say that you can't have peace or do things in America just because I'm not going to do that on this stream. But I will say that Mama Africa has definitely been the peace and the clarity and that I needed. I've gotten the immersed in different cultures, but the cultural difference itself is definitely something that I need to aid in, all the things that I'm seeking. So it's been wonderful. It's been great. It's definitely been exactly what I needed. I'm glad that I answered the call because I'm here, and it's been marvelous. And so, yeah, it's a little bit easier to focus, of course, definitely easier to focus and get some things done. And being that this is the place that that most repats or diasporans come to uplift and build and contribute, because this is our land, this is our motherland, this is our ancestors' land. And so these are our lands, and we want to come, and this is the place we want to come and build up and strengthen and immerse in the culture, and contribute and do all these wonderful things. And so yeah, we hope more people will come and follow. And just to be on topic of the actual um, just to stay on the subject of the actual topic regarding like just the differences, I think there as a whole there's this war, there's this gender war that seems to be going on.
Mm.
um and I mean, there's so many wars we're fighting amongst ourselves, we're fighting amongst others. So there's a race war, there's a gender war. But I think that your topic talks about
Mm.
women are from Mars, what men being from Mars and women being from Venus. Well, we know with Dr. Gray, he wrote that book, and his reasoning for writing that book was to kind of expound on how not only men and women are different psychologically, and he was speaking in general. Of course, he wasn't speaking on the people of color, but I know you want to focus more on the people of color. So it just really all comes down to, where are we psychologically as Black men and Black women, and where do we need to
Mm.
be psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, in all aspects? Where do we need to be to start coming together and moving forward in a powerful way? And I think that's a really great question that hopefully a great mind can answer one day. It's going to take a lot of work, but if I could start to answer that, I would say it's going to start with healing. It's going to start with some healing. We need healing
Healing.
on both sides.
Okay. Right. Right. Which is a whole nother 5-hour conversation. But
Yep.
you brought it up. I have to. We got to do this again, maybe several times. I don't want to make this like just asking you all these personal questions and stuff like that. So I want to say this in a general sense. I
About
guess maybe.
relationships, right? This is definitely about man
Yes,
and woman
exactly,
relationships.
exactly. But you
Let's
do
keep
have
it.
a level. You don't want to. Maybe you don't want to admit it, but you have a level of knowledge and expertise on this issue. You have this cross-cultural thing going on since you're in Africa. But no, I was going to start with myself, and I guess for everybody else, really start with themselves. Like, what does healing mean to you? Why do you need to heal? And I was thinking about this yesterday. A lot of times, there are so many darts thrown at us throughout our lives. Darts. Like my mom told me, I would never be Dr. J. Dr. J was a basketball player before Michael Jordan. But I was pretty good at one point. But I listened to her, and I started playing baseball instead, focusing on baseball. But there's been other slice. Oh, you got big lips. I do have a big head. But there's certain things about us that people have said when I was coming up that are very African. Relationships that I seen my mother go through, that one that really ended her life, emotional abuse. And then I see my own relationships, some of them that really, some of them not great. And then I think about all these things heal, that we need healing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think the question is, what does healing mean to you? And are you in touch with the healing that you need? I think that in America, as a Black person, a person of African descent, need a level of healing because we've been so indoctrinated and colonized. And I know going to Africa has a certain cleansing effect on us. And would you say, well, I guess I'm probably answering my own question, the Africa actually definitely helps in the healing process And how can I get some healing that I'm stuck over here? Would you give me advice for the rest of people that will see this on her? How can we get healing? And I know about prayer and meditation and jazz music and all that, but what would you say towards that? How do we get healing?
Jazz music.
I know that's a broad question.
I wish you stopped giving me 80 questions to answer at one time. That'd be great.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me hold on, Queen. Hold on one second.
I got it. Nope, I got it.
I was gonna ask. Okay,
I'm on a roll.
I have a more directed. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm on a roll.
All right, cool.
So when you start talking like this, I love that, because I love that you asked me that question. What does healing mean to me? And healing, that's a whole nother topic. But healing to me is true healing is when one partakes in doing a self-analysis and starting back from childhood all the way up until whatever age they are, and truly engaging in those trauma, or not engaging, but analyzing those traumas and working on healing them one by one, or understanding them. It's almost like getting the gunk out, and that's true healing, and we call it shadow work. So that's really true healing to me. And
shadow work.
I believe you asked me, what have I started to partake in? I hope this doesn't go dead. What have I started to partake in? As far as healing, have I started partaking? And yes, I started healing prior to even getting here to the continent. I started my healing and my shadow work, and it's funny how you say, you were mentioning healing in order to, I guess, be what it is you would need to be for a relationship. Well, let's talk about this. When you're healing, you're changing a lot. You're changing your DNA. You're changing a lot about yourself. And one of the things you're changing is your frequency, your vibration, your frequency level, and your vibration. So you're raising your vibration and your frequency. And so in a positive way. And what happens when we're vibrating high and when we're on this high frequency and we're healing our internal, which means our energy centers are also healing and aligning, and we're becoming better and more closer and connected with self and with higher self, getting closer, to more higher consciousness and higher self. So what do you attract then? You only attract that of which you're a vibratory match. So for those who continuously find themselves in sucky relationships, or, you keep meeting these crazies, there's two reasons for that. One, you might be meeting what you don't want because you are a reflection or representative of that what you don't want. Or it could be that if you are working on self, truly working on self, and you feel that, hey, I'm doing the work, I'm doing this and that. Well, it just could be a lesson that, the universal spirit or whatever your higher source that you believe in could be sending you for you to continue more healing. It's not a punishment or anything, and it's not that you were vibrating low. It's just, hey, these are more lessons, because I still have more to learn before I actually get that vibration that you're searching for out of that partner. And then I also heard you say something about Africa being the healing that we need. Mama Africa can be the healing that we need if we're ready for it to be the healing that we need. No one needs to come to Mama Africa, and they have not already started their healing journey, and they're still, really struggling with certain things, because it can be a disaster once they get over here. They can get over here and start. This is like a time warp. This is like the Twilight Zone. So when you come here to Mama Africa, it's not like the UK, it's not like the US, it's not like Mama Africa is not like anywhere else in the world. And you need to be absolutely prepared when you come here. Or you will have a cultural shock that will do multiple different things to you, will have multiple different effects on you. And you don't want that, where you end up having to take your behind right back to America, or you come here and you on some craziness, you're disrespecting natives, you're disrespecting the land, you're disrespecting the culture. And so Yeah. So it's the place that can help. It is definitely a place that's perfect for that if you're in that process and if you're mentally there, spiritually there and things and you're working on self. Hey, nobody's gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna say I didn't have my moments where I haven't been purging since being here. I haven't cried, I haven't laughed, I haven't been through things, lessons, and learning. But Kiara's been doing her healing prior to getting here. So trust, I didn't come here cursing out locals and getting short with people and different things of that, that nature. So yeah, I'll answer that. And I don't know if there's something else that you asked that I may have missed, but yes.
Right. Now I was going to ask, and I guess this is probably self-evident, but first of all, it's been there longer than October. Seems like you've been there for like years. October, you've been since October of 2020?
Yeah,
It
last
seems
year, October.
longer. I don't know. But anyway, wow. Okay. So have you come back to visit since then? Have you been back to visit? And what differences did you notice if you haven't been back?
Mm-mm.
You haven't been back since you've been there, right?
No,
Back to
no, I haven't.
okay. I, that'll be a great video as well when you come back to visit fam or whatever. Or I don't know if you are coming back. Difference. Come back. For me, I think I'm not sure if we had this conversation. My first lesson about Africa was the channel Native Born. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
They were like one of the first people. I think they came from Connecticut to Ghana and then Indonesia, Bali. Now they're back in America, and I learned a lot from them. Good and just okay. But no, one of my things was so now you're making me think we got to go back from zero to like where we are and examine where some of those darts that hit us that stuck, and that we got to pull those darts out. And as Malcolm X said, not just taking the knife out; it's about heal wound.
Well,
So that's a deep
Samoba, I
dive,
want I want to give you
you
an
know.
example if it's okay. I want to give you
Okay.
a personal example if it's okay. Um, you know, I heard your intro in the beginning, and it seems as if your reasons for being so I guess in tune with all that is relationships and love, or just being, kind of intrigued. It all started from the things that have happened with your mother, and I would say it's definitely a positive thing. I love how you transmuted that energy. You could have actually become someone that actually hated love, hated black love, and hated relationships, like, or shun relationships and say, why would I ever even want to get into a relationship? Look what happened to my mom. And so I'm not sure if you ever did any healing work, or maybe you did and you don't know. I'm not sure, but whatever happened, um you seem to want to just perfect the craft, and you took something that I'm sure you felt energy that was not as positive, because you were sad, you were angry, you were upset, at the time of your mother's transitioning. But you took that and you transmuted that energy, and you move forward in a very powerful way. And that's something and a theme I'm doing right now, even with myself and my channel, that I want to start doing, as far as lessons of the past and moving forward in the future, moving in our power, moving forward in a powerful way. And so I would be very curious to know if you did any healing. You probably wouldn't know. Sometimes we do things and we're probably not that aware or conscious of it. But I love what you're doing and I love what you're about. And I think that you should continue to push love and black love and positivity and, all that is uplifting for our people. And so, yeah, maybe some of your viewers can take some notes and some lessons, on how to transmute energy, right?
Right. Thanks. I thought about what you're saying and why do I even still love and black women, and I thought that all the time. And thank you. You'll get a portion of my royalties when the book comes out for bringing that up. Now I'm going to think about it more. But what I'm getting from what you're saying, and I would like to do some summation notes, and I'll send them to you first if you don't mind, and then I'll post them about what we got from this conversation. But what I basically got is, how we can both be on planet Earth per se is for us to heal, for us to recognize, do some of the shadow work that we need to do. And I want to say this, maybe you didn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I think that we do need to get our mind, once we get our minds right, we do need to go back to Africa to cleanse, to retouch, to refocus. You want to live there or not? I think that's part of the necessary phase. And I don't know if you said this or you had this in so many ways that we realize we're not enemies, and Becky is not better than you. I think the black woman is on top of everything. She's the mother of everything. So I'm going to do some summary notes and send them to you, and agree that that is what we got from. I guess the first step is the healing shadow work. But here's one thing, and I know that we need to go. We can get ego and emotion to get to the spirit. I feel with men, it's ego when you egg God out or whatever God means to you, earth God only. Women, it's a lot of times it's the emotion. And we both forget that we're spirit, spiritual, having human experiences.
I
So
like that.
thank you. Yeah. Just like sin, self-inflicted nonsense. But that's for the book as well. I'll make sure you get a portion of the royalties. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for what you're saying and what you're doing. And I want to recommend that everybody, I don't know if you want to advertise your channel or not, but I want to recommend everybody that's watching this. And most people are going to be watching this on replay, but definitely go check out the sisters page. And I think that you have a lot to say about the healing journey and some of the things you're doing. And I know we talked about the bio and stuff like that. Are you? I know that you're a writer, and for me personally, and maybe other people, is there any way? I don't know if you have writings out. I would love to read them. I'm a poet and
I'm
writer
still I'm
myself.
still working on my website.
You still working on it?
Because I'm a perfectionist like that in a way.
Okay.
At
Okay.
least I was told. So
I
no, but
figured as much.
I will have a website and some other things out. But as of right now, my YouTube channel is called The Queen Key. It is The Queen, one word, Key, separate, which is KI. So you can find me on YouTube. My email is kikisj89@gmail.com if you ever want to email me. But that is me. That is what's up right now.
All right, and I'll put all that in the description as well. Okay, and we're gonna do this again, I hope, but at your time and your convenience, because it's I guess it's after 9 o'clock. It's only 1:13 here. So we're gonna try to do this maybe on your channel. We can do it on this channel. I'm gonna play with this some more. And I'm gonna probably bring on a brother to talk about this as well soon. I'm not sure who yet. I'll let you know about that.
In
But I want to
divine
thank you.
timing. In divine
In
timing, I'm
divine
sure we'll get
timing.
together again.
Right. Okay. That's great. And thank you. I'm glad that the universe allowed the power to come back on and all the
Yes.
rest of that. I'm going to talk to you about some other things offline, about the power of prayer, and meditation. I'm Yeah, there's some things that we'll talk about that. Once you pray and you put it out in the universe, you just have to trust the process. And a lot of times you don't have to keep, the universe hears you the first time, the ancestors hear you the first time, and just take the doubt and fear out of it. And a lot of times things will happen. Anyway, Queen, thank you so much
Okay.
for knowledge that I'm going to send you some summary notes that I would like to put out to people so they can start moving forward in their lives. And if you agree with what I've come up with for the summary, then I'll put them out, and then we'll go from there. And as the universe dictates, we will do this again very
Okay.
soon. So
Thank you
thank you
for
so
having me.
much for
Appreciate
the
it.
show. Yes, and rest well, and we'll be talking very soon.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night. I'm gonna take you off now. All right. Okay, and I'd like to thank everybody else for watching. Um, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. We had 4 people at the height of this live stream. And a lot of people are going to watch this on the replay. And I have to honestly do a better job of marketing and getting these videos out. But I do have StreamYard now, and this is my first live with someone, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm going to have a Patreon, and I got a Cash App and PayPal. I got to set all that stuff up. This is my first day off in about a week. So I'm going to get to that. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to put some summary notes in the description and how to watch Queen Key, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, you guys. Peace.